So I read 7 books this month and here are my thoughts. The first book I read is The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown, and I literally could not put it down. Dan Brown has a way to make you on the edge of your seat, flipping the pages to know what is going to happen. This is the 3rd book in the Robert Langdon series after Angels and Demons and The Da Vinci Code. And this time the mystery is in Washington, D.C., where Langdon is quickly summoned by plane, again, by a wealthy friend to give a lecture in the Capitol building because the intended speaker cancelled at the last minute. But very soon Langdon discovers that the invitation was not by his friend and there is no scheduled lecture. As it turns out, there's a crazy guy that wants Langdon to find the lost Mason's treasure, which Langdon does not believe in order to save his friend's life. And he goes on a thrilling journey all over Washington in a story that includes strange secrets, history facts, the power of the human mind, and the CIA gets involved somehow. I really enjoyed this book despite some of the unbelievable events, but Dan Brown's formula of short chapters and fast-paced storytelling is very effective, and I'm going to try to finish the series by the end of the year. Second book is called Exhalation by Ted Chiang. It's a collection of science fiction short stories that I really loved, and I talked about it in my video for the top 5 science fiction books that I read. You can find it in the link above or in the description below. Please check it out and support the channel by hitting the like and subscribe buttons to watch my future content. Next book is called Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Now, I don't read enough fantasy books and I wanted to start somewhere. I started with this book because I've heard so much about this series and about this author. This book is the first book of the Farseer trilogy, which in itself is the first trilogy in a group of trilogies that comprise the realm of the Elderlings. The total number of books in this series are 16 books. Now, this is a very big commitment if I wanted to read all of the books, and that's why I've been delaying starting this series. But then I said, you know what? I really don't have to continue with the series if I don't like the first book. There is no law that says I must read all 16 books. So I decided to start, and now I'm on the fence. I liked this book enough to make me read the second book and give the series a chance because I really liked the writing style. But I didn't feel engaged with this book. I felt that nothing interesting is happening up until the last third of the book where things started to escalate. The book talks about Fitz, who is the illegitimate son of the prince who would become king one day. However, because of his situation, he cannot be raised with the ruling family, and he is raised instead by his father's stableman, so he grows as an outcast. But then the king, who is his grandfather, secretly assigns his own assassin to train the young boy to be the next assassin that would work to benefit the king. I know the first book in the series is always slow because of the buildup of the world. We meet so many characters, and I kept that on my mind all the time. I actually read the book as an audiobook, and I think that was a mistake from my side. I think this type of book should be read as a physical book or on Kindle to be able to absorb all that is happening. I will read the second book on my Kindle and see if I will enjoy it. Next book is The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I said before that this author is one of my favorites, and I already read her other 2 very famous novels, Station 11 and Sea of Tranquility. Between those 2, The Glass Hotel was released, and it was not met with the same success because it was not a science fiction as her previous novel, Station 11. People were expecting a similar thing to Station 11, but instead she wrote a character-driven story that revolves around the 2008 financial crisis. That doesn't mean that The Glass Hotel is a bad book. In fact, it's a really good one. It's beautifully written, it will grip you from the very first pages, and the characters are amazing. The book talks about a group of characters that are connected to the Glass Hotel in some way or another, and we follow them through their lives and find out about their backstories. Their lives are also impacted by the 2008 financial crisis, which takes a big part of the book. And that's it, really. Hardly anything happens in the Glass Hotel, and I still don't know why the author chose to name the novel The Glass Hotel, unless I'm missing something. My only complaint about the book is that the first half of the book started really strong, and then in the second half it started to be a bit boring because of focusing on one character who was the mastermind of a financial fraud. We meet some characters in the beginning and then they completely disappear for half of the book and their stories are concluded at the end. However, I really liked the book and I liked all the characters, and I would definitely read anything by this author. Next book I read is called In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. The protagonist is asked at a job interview, where do you see yourself in 5 years? She answers the question very specifically because she planned every aspect of her life. She knows exactly what she wants, but then she goes to sleep. She wakes up in a different house and suddenly a guy walks in and he appears to be her fiancé even though she is engaged to another guy. It turns out that she woke up 5 years later and nothing of what she had planned actually happened. The story sounds really interesting, but I didn't like the execution. I thought the author would use this supernatural beginning in a different way. Instead, it gets ignored. I'm not gonna say how because I don't want to spoil it. And the story took a different turn. The protagonist is questioning her relationship with her fiancé, and we explore her really strong relationship with her best friend. And then it becomes really sad and really dramatic. Now I realized that I didn't like this book because of my wrong expectation of what the story is going to be about. The story is just a contemporary tale about love, friendship, relationships, and life goals. If you like that, the book is really enjoyable and fast-paced. However, I didn't like any of the characters and I found them to be really bad people with unjustified actions. Next book I read is called Heaven by Miko Kawakami. This Japanese short book was nominated for the International Booker Prize for 2022. And I was tempted to read it because it's short, it's about 160 pages long. But sometimes even if the book is this short and you're not enjoying it, it will feel much longer. And this is unfortunately what happened with me. The main theme of the book is bullying at schools, which is a very important subject. The author used very direct and disturbing scenes to describe the bullying. A major trigger warning, by the way, because these scenes were really annoying and I felt they were a little bit exaggerated. Other than these scenes, I really didn't find anything interesting in this book. The book talks about a boy and a girl who are constantly being bullied at school and they become friends because they sympathize with each other. The book is written in a boring language. The conversations in this book are boring and written in very short sentences, probably on purpose because the characters are teenagers and they have really awkward conversations. And I really don't understand why it was nominated for the Booker Prize. Final book on my list is a nonfiction, which is The Body by Bill Bryson. Bill Bryson is the author of the very famous nonfiction book, A Short History of Nearly Everything. He writes books with so many interesting facts with an easy and entertaining writing style. And reading his books really opens your eyes on so many new things in life. This book obviously is about the human body and what a miracle it really is. The book is divided into different chapters. Each chapter talks about an organ or a system in the human body, such as the digestive system or the brain and the nervous system and so on. I really enjoyed reading this book and it was eye-opening in so many parts. It turns out we really don't know much about the human body and that we have a really long way to fully understand what is happening in our bodies. I really recommend reading this book and all of Bill Bryson's other books are worth it. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also, please watch my previous video. Thanks for watching and happy reading.